Woo wee woo. Do some vocal warm-ups. Oh, whoa. Okay, I can put that in the video, I guess.
Don't put that.
What's up, guys? We're coming at you today with an awesome introductory to keto series. This is video 1.
The ultimate guide to keto for beginners.
And it's not just a generic Google, how do you start a keto diet? Let's put that in a video. This is actually our
Personal take
on how we would restart a keto diet if we had to. And we've learned a lot over the past few years of doing a keto diet. So I think there's some valuable stuff in here, maybe contradictory to the popular opinion that you'll read on the internet, or, you know, a little bit of a different take. We have a food blog, ketoconnect.net, you can check out with just recipes for a keto diet. Basically everything on our website is keto related. So check that out.
Well, we got a YouTube channel and a podcast.
Oh yeah, we also have a podcast. And we have
a cat. God dang it.
Bye, Miley.
Oh my God, she's really resilient.
Let's talk about how to start a keto diet. The first thing has to be mindset, and you want to have a long-term mindset. It's not a quick fix. Nothing's a quick fix. All of this is like a long reparative process.
Focus on you. Compare yourself to your yesterday.
What is keto? Just real quick, you can find this information on the internet and stuff. It's a specific macronutrient ratio that puts your body into a state of ketosis, meaning that you're using ketones for fuel, fat for fuel, instead of using carbs or glucose for fuel. A very important step before starting is to definitely do some independent research by yourself, because you want to be confident that you're doing what you feel is right. You're not just like hopping on some trend.
Why?
Yeah, you want to know a little bit of the mechanisms at play behind the scenes.
Also, people are going to question what you're doing, family, friends. A lot of people reach out to us. There's a lot of pressures out there, but understanding what keto is and how good it makes you feel will just motivate you to continue to do it, and also give you a reason to tell your family and friends that this works for you, this is what you're doing, and you got to show me some support.
Yeah, you got to have some comeback zingers you can throw at them.
Don't use the word zingers, though.
So here is the part about what you should be eating, basically. And this is the way we think you'll be most successful. It's not the only way to do it. I think a good first step would be putting your numbers, your body weight, your height, body fat percentage, into a macro calculator. We have one on our site. I will link that below. Just run your numbers through there, see what it comes up with, write those numbers down, your fat, protein, carbs, just to have as a reference point. You don't have to do this from day one, but you want to have a little bit of a reference point to kind of know what you're shooting for. Once you do that, I would say you want to start by just counting carbs. So if there's one thing that gets you the highest percentage of results, is just counting the carbs. That's the big thing. Keeping carbs low, and you'll be surprised when you start counting how much carbs is in how many things.
Right.
So, you want to stay under 20 net carbs. Net carbs is total carbs minus fiber. Basically, any number under 20 on the day will get your body into a state of ketosis. That's the goal. So read labels. You might have to look some stuff up online if it doesn't have a package. And most of the foods you're eating should not have packages. So look them up online, look them up on Google. There's a USDA website, and there's MyFitnessPal is what we generally use. When you're looking through MyFitnessPal, you know, maybe double check to make sure it's accurate, because it's just user inputted data.
Definitely.
Keep the carbs under 20 net grams. That is the biggest first step. So this is termed lazy keto. You're just counting carbs. You're not really tracking calories. You're not tracking protein. You're not tracking fat.
Right. And to start, we also recommend not to track calories at all whatsoever. Eat until you're full, as long as they're keto foods and you're keeping your carbs low. And the reason we suggest this starting out is because it makes it a lot more sustainable and easy to stick to long term as you're transitioning into a fat adapted state. Once you're fat adapted, things become a lot easier, and you can incorporate a lot of those crazy things you see out there, like fasting, tracking.
And this is not medical advice. We're not doing any recommendations. We're just YouTube people. So our personal opinion is the lower the carbs, the better, to a degree.
And the better we've felt.
So you can do 0 carbs. You don't have to have any carbs whatsoever.
Right.
We did 20 net carbs for a while. Probably we're not feeling our most optimal. So 20 net carbs for us was like 40 total carbs, maybe 20 grams of fiber, which gets you down to about 20 net carbs. I would recommend just going lower if you can. So that means kind of like removing some of the bulk of vegetables. Like if you're having like a few cups of broccoli a day, like a huge salad.
Big salads.
I would say cut down on that. This is just our opinions based on doing it for a couple of years. Lower carbs, the better. If you can start at like 5 total carbs a day, that would be my recommendation. But I'm not a doctor. Under 20 total carbs, under 10 total carbs, go low as opposed to erring on the side of going high. That's what we would do. Okay, so what types of foods you're going to be eating on keto? Mainly the bulk of your diet, the top of the food pyramid, fatty cuts of meat.
What kinds?
I like to have steaks, ground beef, like some sausages and stuff, chicken thighs.
So like 80-20 ground beef, ribeyes, skin on chicken thighs.
Yeah, you want to be getting some good animal fat in
Yeah.
there. Second tier in the food group is probably just added fats, like butter,
Coconut oils.
Yeah, things like that. Ghee, MCT oil if you want to go that route.
Not mandatory.
Then you're looking at some vegetables, leafy green vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower,
Spinach.
salads,
Avocados.
asparagus, things like that. That's honestly like it. For me, if you really want to be optimal, that's it. But if you want to start adding in some other stuff, then you got like a little bit of berries if you want to do that. You got nuts if you want to do that. You can do some cheese. That's probably the third tier down, more of the optional stuff. The last tier would be like the packaged keto products.
Quest bars.
Things like that, which, you know, obviously not ideal, but if you're transitioning, if you need something on the go,
Totally
it's an option.
cool. The reason we like to keep it as simple as possible, just with the whole foods we talked about at the top of the pyramid, is not only is it just easier to stick to a keto diet day to day, especially when starting, but it's also really budget friendly. So like if you're feeding a big family or you're on a college budget, when you're getting thighs or ground beef in bulk and maybe even freezing it, then you're better off in terms of what you're spending to the nutrition and the fat and the calories you're getting in. So snacking is a big part of the American diet. We haven't even cut snacks out completely. And when you're it's a fun word to say, isn't it?
Don't you sound like a child when you say snacks?
Snacks. Can I get a snack? So when you're transitioning into a keto diet, maybe you're coming from a high snack diet, maybe you sit at a desk and you have nuts in your drawer, you have whatever in your drawer.
The American workplace is powered by snacks.
Exactly. It's not going to be easy to just jump from all the snacks to 2 meals, 1 meal, only 3 meals a day.
Because a lot of when you're eating is a habit. You might not even be hungry, but if you have your 10 o'clock snack every day, when you start keto, you're still going to want your 10 o'clock snack.
Or Netflix when you get home, you're going to want that snack. So there are a ton of great options for snacks. Don't feel like you have to be deprived at all. We like our whole food snacks, so those would be like hard-boiled eggs, avocados, maybe some cheese, some nuts, some jerky. If you want to do fruit, we don't do fruit personally, but if you do, some berries, blackberries, strawberries, blueberries. And then there are also some processed snacks, which are also a good option. Quest bars.
Quest bars. There's a few other types of low-carb bars you can try.
Keto bars.
There's like a whole industry built on making keto snack foods at this point. Yeah. So when starting, and I remember this for me being the case, I was like snacking a lot on keto-friendly foods because you really need it. It's hard to just wean off of snacking right away. I was eating way more calories than I needed because when you start eating nuts, string cheese, things like that, the calories really add up quickly. If you're in this for the long term, that's fine. Like, you know, get through it whatever way you need to. Just remember that this is a short-term investment in your long term.
Right.
So like you're going to be eating 3,500 calories a day of nuts. It's not good, but that's what you got to do to get through this like sugar addiction and the carb addiction. I think a huge tip is to have some really sound go-to meals that you can just whip up. You kind of know what the macros are. You don't have to think too much about it. Some good examples for me is like eggs, bacon, avocado, breakfast. Bulletproof coffee I have a lot, which is basically just fat blended into a coffee, butter, MCT oil, coconut oil, things like that. We have steaks with maybe a little side of veggies, broccoli, asparagus, chicken thighs. Sometimes we'll even just buy a rotisserie chicken if we need something quick.
And then for like fun things, you can do like egg roll in a bowl. That's like, because it has an Asian flair. There's always a substitute out there. Pinterest, our food blog, tons of different food blogs. So if you're craving something, it's definitely out there in a low carb, ketogenic friendly form.
And then something you may want to explore is having a few takeout options. If you're someone who doesn't have a lot of time to cook, travels a lot, having good takeout options is great. So like we have a barbecue place we get every couple weeks that we know is no no sugar added to it and stuff, and it's just we can feel good about getting it. So having a few things like that could be good for you. Like Chipotle is a pretty decent option.
Bunless burgers at Wendy's.
Yeah, if you just have like a nice burger place around that you can get takeout from.
Jimmy John's, Unwitches.
And then a big one we recommend, we actually have a course linked in the description below for meal prepping keto foods. And the reason it's so important is because you can't go to the grocery store for the most part and just buy something off the shelf that is ready to be eaten when you take it home. Like if you're on a standard American diet, you know, potato chips, Oreos, there's all these things, even like Nutri-Grain bars. They're just ready, you open a package and you eat it. That doesn't exist as much on a keto diet, so it's nice to have an actual sound meal ready in the fridge that you can just microwave, heat in the oven. So we meal prep a lot.
It also frees up a lot of time to do other things, spend time with your family, read a book.
So then when you're starting, you're gonna have times where you wanna cheat and you wanna drink alcohol. Our opinion, obviously, don't do it if at all possible, especially cheating with carbs. That's the worst thing you can do. It really sets you back because your body, for however long you've been alive, has been running off of carbs, glucose, right? So now you're committing to this new diet and you're trying to really change it from what it's been doing its entire existence.
Right.
When you're doing something solid for a couple weeks, a month, and then you go back to your old ways, think of it like, you know, smoking a cigarette. If you are a month clean and then you smoke a cigarette again, it kind of sets you back on. You're gonna have to like conquer those cravings again. If at all possible, don't cheat. What we like to do is have calorie cheats, not carb cheats. So that will just keep you on your way to becoming fat adapted much better. So like order Buffalo Wild Wings, get like 30 wings.
Go crazy.
Go crazy. If we are in the mood to really indulge a little bit.
Right.
So there's like more sensible options for living it up without totally ruining your diet.
And then as far as drinking goes, there are a lot of options. There are low carb beers. There's wines that you can get, and then liquor is probably your best option. One thing to note that is really important though is since you are not ingesting all those carbs, you get drunk a lot faster. So make sure you hydrate between drinks. We'll always like have a drink and then a glass of water and then another drink.
And no one listens to this because I remember when I started, I was like, that's people just say stuff.
I'm a heavyweight.
But this actually happens, so heed this message. You will get drunk twice or 3 times as fast.
Right, so be
and
careful.
The next day will not be fun. There's a lot of people who drink like a couple glasses of wine with dinner or something. That's gonna really like inhibit your progress.
I would agree.
Try to keep it to like once a week if you can. Obviously, the less, the better. Last thing is electrolytes, and this is really crucial. This is another thing that everyone says, but maybe when you're first starting, you think it's not gonna affect you. It's gonna affect you.
Yeah.
You need sodium, potassium, magnesium. I'd say sodium is probably the most important. You just have to add salt to everything, your food. I add some to my drinks, my coffee, my pre-workout. You can even just like sprinkle some in your mouth at certain times if you're feeling low energy, and especially when you're first starting. You'll get headaches and stuff if you're low sodium. Potassium you can mostly get from food if you're eating avocados and spinach. It's pretty easy to get from diet, but you may need to supplement if you're a person who doesn't eat a lot of veggies and stuff. Look for potassium citrate powders, or there's Morton's light salt. And then the thing you're probably going to need to supplement, regardless of how sound your keto diet is magnesium. And we'll link a good magnesium supplement below. I like to take it before bed. Helps you sleep a little bit. So electrolytes get less and less important as you progress, in my experience. When you're first starting, you really need to supplement hard.
You also get better at just like making sure you feel good.
So to really reduce it down to the simplest elements, tomorrow, if you're starting keto, you're going to have a few choices. Basically, at your meals, decide to eat keto foods. That's really it. And by keto foods, for you starting, it might just be counting the carbs. When you do that, you're probably going to be a little bit lower on fat, a little bit higher on protein. You'll figure that out over time just by trying to feel better.
And also focusing on that long-term mindset. So if you don't get it exactly right tomorrow, the next day,
you
the
learn
next
a lesson. This is all, you get better and better at it.
Exactly. So don't be hard on yourself. This is an exciting new process you're about to start. So embrace it. Come back tomorrow for video 2.
What if they want to watch video 2 right now?
Is that even possible?
Well, we are putting our videos on a new platform. It's called Steam It. We're posting the videos there one day before we post them on YouTube. So you can watch video 2 in this series right now. If you go to Steam It, it's going to be linked in the description. We're still going to post to YouTube, but we like Steam It because there is no giant conglomerate in the middle of us and you censoring us and demonetizing, things like that. It's just a more pure transaction of us getting our message to you without someone in the middle.
Right, cool.
Oh, and I guess a cool thing is There's no ads or anything, and
Right.
you actually get paid for contributing to the platform, not only by creating videos, but actually by leaving comments. So if you leave an awesome comment, maybe if you like make fun of us even and everyone likes it, you get paid for that. Please let us know what you think, and if you have any questions, comment below.
See you tomorrow.